Chivos here, bringing you my Hyundai A-League fixture preview for week 7. That is right, 7 weeks down already. Things are flying, and the first game of the weekend is being played on Thursday night. And the first game of the weekend sees Melbourne Victory take on Central Coast Mariners at home. Melbourne Victory welcome the returns of Galloway, Payne and Galafuccio from international duty, but are without Geria, Valeri. Both of those guys are out due to injury, and they're also out without key player and international marquee Besart Berisha, the top goal scorer of the competition so far. So reports say Berisha is suffering from soreness and will be rested, while young George Howard will be taking his place and trying to fill his shoes in the lone striker role. Central Coast will be without McGing due to him picking up his red card last weekend. They are also without Ferreira and Trafiro due to injuries. It will be different to see Melbourne Victory without Besart Berisha leading the line, but it's also going to be weird without Geria and Valeri, two first team members who aren't going to be there. Without Berisha, that makes it 3. So 3 first team squad members that aren't going to be there. But you know, it's Melbourne Victory. They have the squad depth. They're the reigning premiers, and they could go top if they win. So I can pretty much guarantee they're going to win. And the other thing you have to look at is Central Coast will struggle, considering they have 3 key players out, but they will have plenty of confidence after scraping a last-minute draw with 10 men last week against Newcastle Jets. So Central Coast played so offensively last week, it worked out for him. Will it work tonight? I don't think so. I think Melbourne Victory are going to win this result, and I think Melbourne Victory are going to win it 1-0. The second game of the weekend sees Brisbane Roar take on Melbourne City Football Club. Brisbane Roar welcome the returns of Jamie McLaren and Matty Mackay from international duty. They also welcome Jerome Polens to the first team, who has been promoted to the squad. Melbourne City welcome back Ivan Franich and David Williams back from injury. Obviously, Ivan Franich, a very, very big player for them, but no one in Melbourne City's ranks is bigger than Aaron Moy, and he is back this weekend. Aaron Moy is the playmaker. I repeat this every single week. Without Aaron Moy, Melbourne City are nothing. They got dominated against Western Sydney Wanderers last weekend, and Moy is back this week. Is he going to change things though? What am I kidding? He probably will. You know, it's Aaron Moy we're talking about here. He's the playmaker in the A-League. You know, surprised he hasn't been offered a move elsewhere, to be honest, but Melbourne City have struggled when Aaron Moy's been away. They'll be hoping to have him back, and he's the key to get them some more points on the board. They need it, because I do think last time we checked the table, they were in 7th position, so they need points. Brisbane Roar managed to do well without first team players Matty Mackay and Jamie McLaren last week, thanks to a goal from Enrique. I've already covered that in last week's review. But having them back will be a big boost to their squad, and I do think Brisbane Roar are going to maintain their spot on the top of the table. I do think they're going to beat Melbourne City, and I think the final result is going to be a 2-1 win to Brisbane Roar. The third game of the weekend sees Western Sydney Wanderers take on Wellington Phoenix. Western Sydney only have 2 changes to their squad, and they see Alberto and McDonald promoted to the first team. Wellington see the returns of McGlinchey, Doyle and Fenton, all coming back to the first team after they had international duty last weekend. Western Sydney Wanderers managed to beat Melbourne City 3-0 last weekend, which I just said before, and it makes it 3 wins in a row for Western Sydney. I was writing them out 3 weeks ago, and what do you know? 3 weeks later, they're on 10 points. They're equal third technically, but goal difference is the problem there. But ridiculous turnaround from Western Sydney in such a short period of time. You know, it's good for them. Wellington Phoenix managed to put 4 past Adelaide last weekend, and we want to have a similar performance this weekend. Wellington performed so well last weekend. It was ridiculous how well they performed, bagging 4. And you know, I can see both teams scoring in this result. Obviously, Western Sydney Wanderers in goal scoring form at the moment. Wellington Phoenix bagged 4 last week. They're going to bag some more this weekend. But I think this result is going to end up in a 2-2 draw. The fourth game of the weekend sees Perth Glory take on Sydney FC. Perth Glory welcome the returns of Harold, Oxborough and Risdon, while the only out they have is Fernandez. Obviously Fernandez, coming from the Netherlands, was I think he's from Feyenoord. Then he was playing the striker role for them, but having Risdon back in the defence is going to help Glory out a bit. But Melbourne City welcome the returns of Anderson, Hull and Normuth to the first team, while Jax Fatty is unavailable due to personal reasons. Obviously, we've had the incidents in France, and my thoughts do go out to everyone who suffered in the attacks. And obviously, Jax Fatty has had some family problems over there because the reports say he has gone back to France. So, thoughts out to Fatty and his family, and thoughts out to everyone else who was affected by the attacks in France on last weekend. Sydney FC will want to pick up a win after losing the Big Blue Derby. That is right, my team smashed them last weekend 4-2, and I think Sydney FC want to regain some confidence this week. It was their first loss of the season. Before that, they had only conceded 2 goals. They only led for 12 minutes in the league, and they were top. So, they conceded 4 last weekend, which is double what they conceded in 5 games. So obviously the defence was a bit leaky. And they're not top spot of the table anymore. Unlucky for Sydney FC, but I don't care. Biased Melbourne Victory supporter, I know, but it's the truth. Perth Glory lost in a disappointing result last weekend when Enrique, he had a great moment last weekend. He was excellent. As much as I hate Brisbane Roar, and Enrique, he's broken my heart many times. It is amazing to see footballers like that. So Enrique scored on his return for Brisbane against Perth Glory. I think that did hurt their confidence a bit. Sydney FC will be clear favourites in this game, but I don't think they're going to dominate. I think they're going to struggle. Obviously, their leaky defence last week. I think Sydney FC will get the win, but I think it's only going to be a 1-0. And the final game of the weekend sees Adelaide United take on Newcastle Jets. Both teams have been struggling as of late and will hope to turn things around in this fixture. Big, if I could write big, I would. Big news for Adelaide United, and that is the fact that captain and goalkeeper Eugene Galekovic is back to the first team squad. He should be fit to play this weekend. So Adelaide United are going to have a huge boost in the defence. That's massive for them as they sit bottom of the table winless. Newcastle also welcome the return of Kantarovski to the first team squad. So obviously Newcastle, they've been playing very well lately. Obviously they haven't performed as well, especially last week. Should have beaten Central Coast. They were dominating, but Central Coast with 10 men proved they've still got it. But Adelaide United will want to win this result because it will be their first win of the season. But Newcastle do want to return to winning ways. They were high up. They were third. They had 3 wins in a row, I think it was. So Newcastle definitely want to get a win here, and I know Adelaide want to get off the bottom of the table, but I don't think this is going to be a good game. Obviously, Adelaide United struggling for goals. Newcastle Jets struggling for goals in the last few matches. So unfortunately for the fans, I can see this being a quite disappointing game. And I do think this is going to end in a 0-0 draw. But they are my predictions for the Hyundai A-League fixtures in Week 7. Let me know your predictions. Leave a comment down below telling me what matches you think are going to stand out this weekend, what matches you think aren't going to be the big highlights of the weekend, and mainly leave your predictions. Tell me if I'm right, tell me if I am wrong. Don't forget to like the video, show your support, and I'll catch you guys on another Hyundai A-League video.